Well, hello and welcome, everyone. I'm Gustavo Tolosa, your book club webinar host. And as usual, I am very grateful to see all of you here from Texas, California, Hawaii, Arizona. Wow, thank you. Yes, it's nice. It's nice to see Canada, Connecticut. Uh, Tell me where you're logging in from. New Hampshire. Okay, wonderful. Well, we have a really good session today. We have someone else from Virginia. A lot of these places I've been to, so it's nice to see that I have people from those places. Um, so, questions. Since this book was written, I have heard more about cramming. Yes, Dr. Lyle has a lecture on that, and I believe that I interviewed him with that topic in mind in one of the webinars that I've done. All those webinars are in my YouTube channel. Make sure you go there and you look under playlists. But I have a little secret to tell you in just a few minutes, and I think you'll like it. And we will discuss cramming. Okay, we have people from New York, Massachusetts, more California, more New York. Wonderful. England, yay! I love England. I've been to London and to Oxford, and I love it. Let's see. I see a message from Nancy about the tea with Dr. T. Okay, I will make a note. I'll send you that information, Nancy. All right. So I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. I did. It really was very nice, and I filmed part of it, and I prepared a starch solution feast, and you can see all of that tomorrow in my Tea with Dr. T show, which is about 45 minutes of just calm and positive talking with you, visiting, having our cup of tea, and always with one or two very interesting topics. So, and I'm going to show that tomorrow, and I'm going to make a very important announcement for me personally. And I think well, I don't know. We'll see what you say about that. Okay, a few reminders. Please, if you could help me by visiting my YouTube channel and subscribing to it and clicking on the little bell, it does help some. Or liking my Facebook page, which is under Dr. Starch, all spelled out. My YouTube channel is my name, Gustavo Tolosa. Also, if you would visit my website, which is plantemas.com, which is a website that we created together with Dr. Diego Ponyman. In that website, there is a very fun webinar that I did for Halloween with a friend of mine who is a vegan cook, and I taught her a little bit of what it is like to be more plant-based vegan, and we did a Halloween webinar last year, but it is available still, and it has wonderful recipes that you get in a PDF, and it's on the website. If you ever want to send a small or big donation so that I can continue doing all these webinars, there's always a link in the description area. And I just want to remind you that I am actually Starch Solution certified by the Health and Medical Center from Dr. McDougall, and I've been doing this for quite a while, and so I enjoy doing that. If you ever need a coaching session with me, or a coaching session if you want to learn piano. And here's the announcement now. On November 8th, we will have the one and only Dr. Lyle here in the show. So if I were you, I would be writing down questions as we read these chapters. You, because you're a member of the club, of the book club, you will have priority. So you can send me your questions ahead of time. The questions need to remain, uh, you know, related to the book, okay, and to the chapters that we have read, if at all possible. So make a note, and that's November 8th in 2 weeks or 3 weeks from now. Okay, let's get started. And I am reading your comments here. Feel free to write comments or questions, and every now and then I will stop, and if there are questions, and answer. So this chapter 4 that we're reading, and remember, you can get the book online as an electronic version. I have that. I bought it in Amazon. It was like $6.20 or something. So it really is inexpensive. So this chapter 4 that we read this week, it was very fascinating to me because Dr. Lyle and Dr. Goldhammer talk about another pleasure trap that we have to deal with in our modern life, and it is the avoidance of pain, and how all the advancements of modern medicine have help in many ways, but in many ways they have become a trap. So one of the things he talks about, or they talk about, is, which is something that really drives me crazy, and it is when people only focus on the symptom. So if they have a headache, I'm not talking a headache every, now and then, very seldom. But if you have headaches every day, or if you have a fever, or if you have, I don't know, a pain if in your knees or whatever, that people focus on that symptom. The body is sending you a message that there is something wrong that needs to be addressed. And the usual solution that people have and the doctors have is to give pain medicine. And of course, that gives you a relief, temporary. Sometimes people take these medicines or pills for a long time, but it's only hiding the real cause. It's not addressing the real cause. And that is a trap. It's a pleasure trap, because you're not feeling the pain anymore. And it's daunting to me how often that happens. And of course, Dr. McDougall and I have discussed this so many times. You all know we've done, I haven't counted them, but hundreds of webinars together. They're all in my YouTube channel. And this was a topic of why doctors, physicians sometimes just address symptoms, and even if they give a patient, let's say, a pain medicine or some other medicine, they don't tell them what side effects they're going to get, because there's always a price to pay for these medicines. Something else is going to get out of sync, an alignment. Something else is going to get hurt in the body. So I'm just giving you an idea of now. We'll get to the book of what are the things that came to mind when I was reading this chapter. And then many of the procedures today, like chemotherapy and all of the heart disease, surgeries, that when you actually look at the numbers published in actual medical journals, we'll see it in the book in just a minute. You know, the efficacy, efficacy or efficiency of these procedures is so minimal. And it is, to me, it's kind of, in my way of thinking, it's a crime to not let patients know the real truth behind these numbers that we'll see in a few minutes. And of course, Dr. McDougall is very passionate about giving the information to patients and letting them decide what to do with their own body and with what they will have to live with when they take these medicines or when they do these procedures. So let's see. Someone says, yes, I think the doctors are caught up in a pleasure trap. They go to school and prescribe pills, not getting to the root of the problem. You know, we're not talking and bashing the doctors. There are times when we really need the doctor. I mean, if I fall down the stairs and break a leg, I'm going to be very thankful of all the medical procedures they can do to fix, because I'm not going to be able to, if I break a leg, I can't just fix it by eating a potato. So there are certain procedures that are needed. Or if someone has a heart attack and falls right now, I mean, I need to call 911 and they have to do whatever is needed to save that person at that moment. So we're not saying that those are bad things, but when they take the place of prevention and sometimes reverting, and the patient is not being told, that is just very discouraging, very sad. So I encourage you to see all those videos that I've done with Dr. McDougall, and we've done some recently, and I'm going to do a few more in the next few weeks. So let's go. I agree. My husband has diabetes too and can't let go of the pill that his doc gave him. Yes, it's all very surreal sometimes when you see all these solutions that we have at hand, that we've had and known for now many years, and somehow they're buried in those medical journals and the general population doesn't know. Okay, so let's go to the book, to chapter 4, and Dr. Lyle says, the spectacular rise of 20th century medicine can be traced to two distinct goals that it attempts to achieve: the healing goal and the pain relief goal. In pursuit of the healing goal, we see medical science at its finest, a bold attempt to use science and technology to better understand the causes of disease. Then, armed with precise understanding, medicine's practitioners attempt to remove those causes in order to promote health and healing. The second goal of medicine is the pain relief goal. While also of great potential value, the point of the pain relief goal is to relieve a patient's pain, independent of determining how to remove the cause of the disease. In cases where medical science has yet to understand the cause of a condition, pain reduction alone can still be a welcome gift to a grateful patient. Let's see here. I am going to my electronic version here in the book, to page 31. And it says, there is a title there that says 2 Short Steps to Mayhem. And before that, the paragraph before that, it says, armed with potent pain reducing medications, the physician often avoids the time and energy consuming task of learning more about the healing goal and what it entails. Too often, today's physicians reaches for powerful pain-reducing drugs while ignoring the underlying causal nature of the patient's disease. This is understandable, but often tragic pleasure trap. The next page says, because the patient's natural psychology equates feeling better with getting better, the effort to distinguish between the two is often neglected. The temptation for the physician to avoid clarifying the confusion may be strong. Telling patients what they want to hear and giving them what they most desire can be the most natural thing in the world. With pain blocked, the body's natural warning system is muted, encouraging the patient to continue a dangerous behavior. And we could put, so many examples here, I see people that have real issues with inflammations of the joints, and they take medications and they keep straining their joints and not going to the cause, which is, if you change the diet that is causing that inflammation, you will get better. Again, it could be, there's even diabetes. The patient that is using the insulin or the pills, they will eat something that is not good for them. And but I'll just put an extra shot of insulin. I'll just take an extra pill. So the negative behavior, the dangerous behavior continues, and it only gets worse. It takes only 2 short steps to help a patient enjoy symptomatic relief. Step 1 is to find out where the patient is hurting. Step 2 is to determine what drug might be most effective at blocking the pain. The more time-consuming and socially unpleasant process of determining the cause and helping the patient to see the value in removing it are tasks often left for some other day or some other doctor. So let's take a look at a few common ailments and their associated treatments in order to highlight the distinction between healing goal and the pain relief. So, for example, we have fever. So fever is a sign the body is giving us when a pathogenic organism, when they're able to establish a foothold within our body, a fever may result. Fever is now understood to be a natural mechanism of defense generated by the body. Our body creates the fever in order to make life unpleasant for some micro predator that is trying to eat us alive. So a fever is an unpleasant experience, but however, it is not as exacting as some pain. For example, if we sprain our ankle, the pain tells us precisely where the injury occurred and reminds us to protect the ankle as the damaged tissue returns to health. Fever, on the other hand, doesn't give us such an obvious cause and effect connection. We are naturally encouraged to drink fluids, minimize our food intake, rest and sleep. These behaviors all assist the body in its effort to defend itself. But beyond these natural promoting encouragements, we are often unclear about how it was that we became ill. As to the fever itself, all that we generally recognize is that it is unpleasant. When it breaks, we feel better. So our natural psychology associates the reduction of fever with getting better. And this is generally true unless artificial means having utilized to reduce it. So if we let the body do its job, when the fever reduces, we feel better, because that means that the pathogenics are dying or going away. But if we use an artificial means like a drug to lower the the fever, then that is a confusion, because we may not be getting better. So fever is uncomfortable, and it is easy to see why physicians would wish to appease their patients by using fever-reducing medications. There is a subtitle here on page 32 that says, "An adaptation." Fever is a powerful adaptive mechanism, a response of your body when under attack by a micropredator. The way fever works on our behalf is quite complex and not fully understood. That it is a very useful adaptation, however, is certain. For every degree of fever elevation, several defensive biochemical reactions occur, and iron is sequestered. Invading bacteria dependent on this nutrient are starved and thus more effectively combated. The scientific evidence is becoming increasingly clear. Fever is useful, natural defense against infection, and should be artificially reduced only when the risks are well understood. So, how can you convince your family and friends that diet will make them well rather than the medication? That far away look they give you means, how do you know? Right. One of you is writing, how do you? This question has been addressed by Dr. Lyle, by Dr. McDougall, and many other doctors and people that have a lot of experience, also like Chef AJ and others. Unfortunately, very unfortunately, with family and friends, we have no credibility. It happens to me. It happens to Dr. Lyle. It happens to Chef AJ. It happens to, many doctors that I've met and talked to, even their family and friends, and they are doctors. They have no credibility. So this can be a difficult thing to accept. It was for me, because I'm the kind of person that I want to help everybody. But at one point, I had to stop and just let it go. Just let it go. And all you can do is be an example. If you're an example of radiant health, and they see what you eat, and if they're interested, they will ask you, and you can point them somewhere else. That's what I was told, what I was taught. It is better if they're interested, and you can kind of see if they're really interested or if they're just trying to create or maybe pick a fight of some sort. You can tell. It's more convenient to say, well, I learned a lot of this by reading such and such book, The Starch Solution, or Reverting Diabetes by Dr. Neil Barnard, or whatever, and maybe even handing them a copy at some point. But pass it on to somebody else. Get that responsibility off your shoulders. You could say that food is powerful and that it can do things that some medications can't, and just leave it there. Dr. Lyle says to tell them to do an experiment. Right. That's another way of handling the situation. Say, well, you could say that you are. Well, I'm doing an experiment. My doctor approved this, you could say, and so far this is what I've been eating and the changes that I've made, and it's so far it's given me very good results. You might want to try it. You could say, just 10 days. What is 10 days in a lifetime? And see for yourself the results and see if they ask what it is, and then from there you can give more details, or you can invite them to a webinar, or you can say, let me send you a link to a video, and send them a video or two. Okay, someone is saying your art is amazing, Gustavo. Well, I do like, I should show you my others there. um, those are the kind of things that we do in Tea with Dr. T. I just show you my life. I take you around the house. I take you around town. I show you stuff and tell you things about myself. So you might want to come tomorrow for that. Okay, so let's move on. And for example, uncomfortable pain, I guess. It could be diarrhea, nausea, vomiting. And occasionally, we may come into contact with contaminated food or water without noticing anything. When we do, we have several important defense capabilities to protect ourselves. Diarrhea, nausea, and vomiting are among the most important. By utilizing medications that block or inhibit diarrhea, nausea, or vomiting, important natural healing responses are likely to be substantially handicapped. As with the dangers of inhibiting fever or inflammation, drug driven blocking of these natural defense reactions has potentially serious consequences. And I do want to mention, because it reminds me of my grandfather, my dad's dad, who was a medical doctor, a very, very amazing doctor. We're talking about the 1940s, 30s. Uh, well, no, yeah, way back, even 1920s. So, but I met, I mean, he lived until I was at least 17, 18 years old. And I always remember something he said, and that is that the body is wise. And I remember him saying, always let your body heal itself first. And and I remember him, stories of my grandmother and my aunt telling me about him, how he would sometimes spend the whole night at a hospital sitting next to the patient until he or she got better. Can you imagine doing that now? And go, well, here now, today, the 18th of October, 2021, in this town and in most of Argentina, the doctor will come to your house. Um, so that's something nice. I think we're going to lose that soon. Hopefully not, but doctors will come to your house, and there's no time constraint. They will stay 15 minutes, they will stay half an hour, whatever it takes. And that is beautiful. That's what being I think if I wanted to be a doctor, that's what I would do. I would not be, oh, I've already been there with 15 minutes with the patient. Sorry, next. So why did I say that? Well, because we were talking about letting the body first heal, and not blocking those important processes. For example, like fever, inflammation is a natural part of the body's attempt to heal itself. Inflammation often results in pain. As inflamed tissue puts pressure on nearby nerves, this is useful. as pain encourages health promoting behavior. The inflammation of an injured lower back, for example, discourages heavy lifting. So a lot of diseases that end with itis, itis, are part of something being inflamed, like uh, colitis, bronchitis, appendicitis, dermatitis, tendonitis, hepatitis. Okay, those are all, when you hear itis at the end of the word, that's something being inflamed. So these, I am on page 35, right after a title that says quick fixes. These pain relieving substances for quick fixes are destructive on two levels. First, they often encourage the continuation of damaging behavior that pain would naturally discourage. Second, they cause what are euphemistically referred to as side effects, which sometimes they're really not side effects, they're really bad effects, major effects. The question for the patient is, and this is what I've also heard so many times, Dr. McDougall and many other doctors say, are the risks worth the benefits? This is a very important question when you're about to either take a medicine or go get a procedure done. Are the risks worth the benefits? In the case of the widespread use of anti-inflammatory drugs, we believe that very few patients are made aware of the true risks associated with drug treatments. The result is that a great many people suffer unnecessarily from kidney disease, liver disease, and gastrointestinal disturbances. They may suffer these conditions while the medicine impedes the healing of their diseased or injured tissues. So you see how everything is connected here, and we have to be smart and ask questions, because when we go to the doctor, it's always for our benefit, and we need to ask questions, not disrespectfully, but as someone who really cares about what this or that will do to my body. Most patients treated with anti-inflammatory drugs would heal perfectly well if a three-step healing goal approach is utilized. Let's move on to the part that says drug troubles. While medicines can offer pain relief, they rarely promote a healing response. Yes, rarely. Otherwise, drug companies would go bankrupt. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if they actually healed you? Then would they have you as a customer? So these medicines can offer pain relief. They keep you hooked to them, but they rarely promote a healing response. On the contrary, the pain relief that medicine confers can have devastating side effects that will need more drugs to treat and will cause more side effects. Before you follow your physician's advice, Dr. Lyle and Dr. Goldhammer say, about medications for fever, inflammation, diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, make sure you ask about the full implications of treatment. These painful defense reactions are most always your allies, and their artificial inhibition can result in damage to your health. Usually, the most desirable choice is to allow the body to do what it is designed to do, which is to heal itself unimpeded by medicines. The medical doctor holds one of the most respected and admired places in our society, but that awe has produced a danger. Most people believe that ingenious medical procedures are likely to save them from any disease process that they may have to face. This belief is absolutely false. The truth is far different and ominous. For the majority of diseases that challenge our population, modern medicine has no miracles. For example, the treatment of breast cancer, a disease that claims the lives of 1 in 8 American women, is barely more successful today than it was 50 years ago. And there is a citation there to read, is citation number 13 at the end of the book. Heart disease, which takes the lives of nearly half of our citizens, is similarly a poor candidate for a medical intervention. Open heart surgery has done little to extend the lifespan of heart patients. The benefits of the most expensive interventions are often so disappointing that they are statistically undetectable. And it says, see end note, page 211 on box page 49. This is a very important here. We'll get to that in just a second. So a very interesting number here. Most people, actually over 75%, will die prematurely of strokes, heart attacks, congestive heart failure, cancer, or the consequences of diabetes. This means that many of the people we know will needlessly suffer and die from one of these conditions. And we say needlessly because scientific evidence now clearly indicates that most of these tragedies are preventable, not through early or more intensive medical intervention, but through the adoption of health promoting dietary and lifestyle choices. Then we have a title that says Taking Control, and it says that the truth is that the overwhelming majority of diseases threatening you and your loved ones are preventable, but not effectively treatable. And if you choose to take preventive actions, you will remove the cause of these diseases before they can result in irreversible damage to your health. So then another title says the truth about 2 medical miracles. Let's talk about these 2 medical miracles here. And this, in my book, is on page 40. And one of them is the treatment of breast cancer, and the other one is heart disease. And I do have quite a few really brilliant webinars about these 2 topics with Dr. McDougall in my YouTube channel. I really encourage you to see them, to watch them. Modern medical treatment has repeatedly been shown to have surprisingly little effect. And so here there's a little explanation of what effect size of a given mode of treatment can mean. Or there's something that is known as the correlation coefficient. And it's a number that describes the degree of how efficient a treatment was or is. So the correlation is signified in statistics texts as R, and the letter R. Correlations for treatment effectiveness can range from 0, not effective at all, to 1.00, which is perfect correlation, indicating that everyone is much better off with treatment rather than without treatment. A correlation of 0.50 would mean that the treatment had very impressive effects, actually. A correlation of R equals 0.30 would mean that a treatment was somewhat important. A correlation of 0.10 would mean that the treatment was only weakly associated with increased survival. So the treatment of cancer, of breast cancer, with chemotherapy has been shown to have a survival correlation of considerably less than 0.10. So 0.10 already means that it's weakly associated with increased survival. And this was, in fact, published in the New England Journal of Medicine. And Dr. Lyle and Dr. Goldhammer give you the footnote to that. The correlation was found to be 0.03. The results for coronary bypass surgery are similarly unimpressive. In a statistical review published in Lancet, which is a very respected medical journal, the correlation between bypass surgery and survival at 5 years post-operation was a very disappointing 0.08. So in the next few chapters, the authors will show you that there is a better way. Taking action, it says here on page 40. What can you do? What can you do? What action can you take to defend against what Dr. McDougall calls the medical business, And unfortunately, most of the times, that's all it is. I see it in every country I've been to. I see it is something that is everywhere in modern life. So what actions can you take? Well, number one, ask your physician if any prescribed medication is primarily for pain relief or for health promotion. Insist on an explanation of your illness and the rationale for the suggested treatment. Ask for risk/reward rationale for treatment versus no treatment. Number two, consider carefully the fact that many unpleasant symptoms are part of an exquisite guidance system, one that you risk disrupting should pain-relieving medications be used. And number three, if a medical procedure is recommended, always seek at least one or more independent opinions. Remember, it's your life. You, not your doctor, have to live with the outcome. So that is the end of chapter 4. Take control of your health, and let's take control now so that we don't have to end up in a medical office asking these questions. Let's take control now and start by cleaning the environment. Clean the environment. The environment is the number one factor here that will predict whether you will succeed or not. All right, so let's see if I have anything else that I need to tell you. I will be uploading in my YouTube channel a video where I made some really, really delicious fajitas. So that's why I was telling you earlier, make sure that you go to my YouTube channel, which is under my name, Gustavo Tolosa, and subscribe to it. Of course, you know that there's no charge for this. It's free. Subscribe and click on the little bell, and that video will be uploaded tomorrow probably, or the day after tomorrow. I think you'll like it. Also, soon I'm going to announce the I see online so many questions and people confused about what the starch solution is, that it just hurts me to see people confused. So I'm going to do a free webinar that is going to be called Starch Solution 101. I do have a lot of experience in the start solution, and I think I can help a lot of people. And if there are questions that I can't answer, I will find the answer. But I'm going to soon announce this webinar. I hope that you can attend. I'll put it on a Saturday or Sunday, and I hope that you will invite people. This will be a perfect way for someone you care about, and that they look at you with those weird eyes. Send them to somebody else. In this case, myself. I might have a doctor as a guest as well in that webinar. And then, of course, let's go ahead and read chapter 5 for next week and start gathering your questions for when Dr. Lyle is a guest in this book club. So let's see, everyone. I don't know if anybody has a question here or a comment. I'm going to stay another minute or so, and I will do my best to answer any questions you might have. I'm trying to think of questions that I've had in the past. I don't know. There are so many. But you guys are a wonderful group, and I appreciate you very much for following me in so many of my crazy adventures. And if you're a part of the Tea with Dr. T club, I'll see you tomorrow at this time. And if not, I'll see you next Monday for our next book club. Okay. Goodbye, everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful week.